Should be recording. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ayabami Bell Torrance. I am the outreach manager for DDOT. It is officially 5:05, and I would like to start our meeting. I want to thank you all for joining us for our first community input meeting of 2020-25. A special welcome to anyone joining us for the first time. We value this opportunity to hear your comments and questions and look forward to sharing our updates. But before we get into tonight's presentation, I would like to turn it over to our new Executive Director of Transit for opening remarks.
Thank you, Adabami. Appreciate that. And happy Thursday to everyone. I hope everyone is doing their best to stay warm and safe. And happy New Year to all. So I won't take up too much of the time this evening. This is the first community input meeting I'll be at as in my new capacity here. So I'm interested and excited to see how it goes, and really always value the opportunity to hear input and questions, feedback, good and bad, from the community. And this is just one solid way to do that too. So again, thanks to all of the DDOT staff who spend a good amount of time and energy preparing for this, and also their contributions during and after the meeting. But most of all, thanks for everyone who's tuning in, for taking their time to give us some of their evening and let us know how we're doing and some of their feedback. So I think if I have to narrow down my approach to a couple of sentences, I'm going to really continue to reinforce at DDOT, providing safe and reliable service. And I think that those are the building blocks. However you want to interpret those, you really can't go wrong with those two principles. And so that's really going to be our continued push. And from there, obviously, you're reinforcing that foundation and allowing for the incremental and meaningful increases in service over time that we're all hoping for and all looking forward to. So with that, I'll turn it back over, and looking forward to the meeting.
Thank you. Awesome. It is time now for our meeting rules, which are quite simple. We just ask that no personal attacks or foul language will be tolerated. That's verbally or in our chat, which will open during public comments. We ask that you please respect the 2-minute time limit that you'll be given, or you may be muted for going over. Of course, if time allows, we will do another round and you'll have another opportunity to talk. Also know that by participating in this meeting, you are granting permission for your name, image, likeness, as well as audio and video recordings to be used by DDOT. During the public comments period, you can use the raise hand feature to be called upon to speak. Now, if you are using the dial-in only phone option, you can enter *9 to serve as that raise hand feature to request to speak or ask a question. And to submit questions or comments, you can do that in the chat to DDOT staff. Again, that will be open during that time. Also, before asking a question or commenting, please be sure to unmute your audio, state your name and organization, and following your comments, please mute your audio. Now, we know many of you just heard from Mr. Kramer, but that is one of our official updates tonight. So in case you missed it, DDOT welcomes its new Executive Director of Transit, Robert Kramer. Mr. Kramer previously served as General Manager of the People Mover, and before that, Acting General Manager of SMART. We're going to turn now to our service changes for January 2025. The 4 Woodward, it will begin on effective Monday, January 20th, so that's this coming Monday, to improve daytime frequency to every 12 minutes on weekdays, and downtown routing changes to layover on Times Square at Rosa Parks Transit Center, and that will be at Bay 15. And many of you have seen this, but we're just going to put it up one more time for a view of what that looks like. Also effective Monday, January 20th, the 52 chain no longer uses lanes between Lafayette and Chestnut. Now, the two-way service reroute that is on St. Aubin will remain permanently. So again, that is in effect and it will remain permanently. Please note that the remainder of the January service enhancements from the 2024 public hearing that many of you attended is expected to be implemented during our April service changes, and that will be starting Monday, April 21st. And we will have more details as that becomes available. But please know that the delay is due to the fact that our fleet and operating staff are still growing into the improved schedule. And as we mentioned before, DDOT wants to be able to consistently provide a full schedule of service. So that is the reason for the delay, but they are still coming. I know that most of you did attend that hearing. Moving now to our DDOT TEO status, that's our operators. Now we know this numbers do change, but at our last check, the DDOT currently has 514 active operators and 32 inactive. DDOT in the community. If you have visited our transit centers recently, you may have received DDOT hand warmers. DDOT Outreach started passing those out at our transit centers last week. And we're happy to provide riders waiting for the bus a little extra comfort this winter season. And moving to our next public meetings. If you are not aware, the next local advisory council meeting will take place Tuesday, February 18th at 10 a.m. And our next community input meeting will take place Thursday, February 20th at 5. And those meetings will be both virtual. And that is all the updates I have at this time. Of course, we encourage you to stay tuned to our website. That's detroitmi.gov/DDOT. And our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, formerly or from now X at Ride DDOT. I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague Kristen to call our first person and just give us a moment as we also put up our timer. And I'm
Okay,
ready
great.
on my
While
end.
we're getting the timer ready, Robert, you are the first hand up. Yeah.
Robert, you can go ahead. Guess we want to come back to him.
Okay, Ms. Rochella, you are the next one. So whoever can unmute first can go.
Good evening, to everybody, Director Ayabami, everybody, Christian, everybody. Today, I just wanted to go over that code of conduct again. I know we talked about the section 28 A and B, but also in section 2, the division 2, chapter 47, line 13 through 17. I think it should be struck out of there too. In addition to any misdemeanor, y'all have the code of conduct. So I done gave you the lines, 13 through 17 in chapter 47. Read it over, it should be taken out. And also that line 11 in section 2, because it's all dealing with the soliciting, selling, lottery. And if you take out the stuff in 28 A and B, you also need to take this out because it's still associated with that. And also the way that people were going to be held accountable if they do get a ticket. Everybody should be able to have a voice and have a chance to say whatever happened. So you should also look at the way that it's going to be done when somebody do get a ticket and give them the same rights as if they was in a court of law to be able to talk up why it happened or the reasoning behind it, and then come to a conclusion to give them whatever punishment it is, not to ride the bus or whatever. But I hope you got every line that I was talking about, especially in section 2, line 11. And in that section 27, I think it is, I said, and those is also line 13 through 17. And I thank you. I'm sorry about the delay that we're going to have from the January changes until April, but I guess we'll be able to get through it, and everybody have a good evening.
Ms. Whitfield, did you want, I don't know if she's available. Did she want to, I know she talked about it before. My doctor. I don't know if you want to reiterate what was said before.
Hi, good afternoon. Jenny Whitfield, Deputy Director of Administration. So our team has received your recent requests as far as additional changes to be made. At this time, the only thing that we have agreed to remove, which will be removed at the table, just to reiterate for those that might not have been on our previous calls or meetings, we have agreed to remove Section 28 out of the Code of Conduct that is being presented. And Councilmember Benson, as well as Councilmember Santiago Romero, they are all aware that will be brought up when we have our public hearing in public health and safety, which will be at this point in time scheduled for the 27th of January. As mentioned on the call yesterday to our advocates or some of our advocates, we will be sending out an official notification to you soon so that you're aware and you can be present. At this time, we have not discussed with legal or internally any additional changes. But we will make note of these requests that have been received today, and we will take a look and see if there are any additional changes that can be accommodated. But for now, we have agreed to remove the request that was presented to us before the end of the before the end of the calendar year at our last meeting.
Okay, I thank you for that, and please go over the ones that I said, and maybe you can get those out too. So everybody have a good evening and Happy New Year.
Great, thank you. Robert, are you able to unmute?
Can everyone hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Awesome. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties, but good evening, everyone. Robert Pulowski, longtime transit advocate and longtime DDOT writer. First off, welcome to you, Mr. Kramer. It's a pleasure to have you on board, and we look forward to seeing all of the great work you have in store to improve DDOT. I don't want to really get into too much because I know I expressed a lot of my concerns on Tuesday, but most of all, we really have a long way to go. First off, I'm open to any suggestions, and we were happy to give you all suggestions. Most of all, I want to see the project that was talked about, ideas that are brought up in prior months about low-income fare programs. Secondly, I want to see more improvements on the on-time performance. Most of us advocates, and I'm not only speaking for myself, are kind of fed up with a lot of the current service that we see, not just on both systems, but DDOT has seen a lot of improvement. A lot of times it was at 70%. You know, we heard over and over again that it was at 70% and there were improvements, and there hasn't been a lot of improvements. But there has been some improvements throughout the months prior. I want to see more improvements. I want to see more buses. I want to see a close working relationship with the mayor going forward into this year, because there has been a huge disconnect between us advocates and the mayor to even get things done. I want to see progress going into this year. And Mr. Kramer, I have faith you can do it, but please listen to us. I did not want to put my comment out this way to express this, but enough's enough. We have to find common ground to work with advocates and the mayor to get solutions done for Detroit. Even though his term will be up in a year, we need to find solutions. So, Mr. Kramer, I'm happy to provide you any detailed feedback and more comments once I have them on a drafted list to you in an email to bring to Mr. Mayor and other advocates that give me ideas alongside. I will definitely pass those along as well. But thank you so much. Welcome aboard. And I look forward to working with you, giving you that feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Mr. Cunningham, yours is the next hand up.
Three one three 444-9114. 313-444-9114. 313-444-9114. That number was made so you can remember it. And on Facebook, Not Enemy. 2 words, Not Enemy. And that is my Facebook page where I give out hand warmers, gloves, bus tickets for years. And I'm glad DDOT jumping on board, giving out hand warmers now. I've been doing it for about a decade, but people do appreciate it. And I've heard some good things about your hand warmers. You guys gave me a case of yours. and the people are appreciative, as you know already. As I go around an outreach vehicle, taxi cab, a lot of people should be using paratransit, but they don't have the $2.50, so they ride the fixed line routes. Is there any way possible or a study can be done? How much would it cost for paratransit to be free, to not pay that $2.50? Also, Mr. Kramer, did you hear the voicemail that I left you? I was asking to do a ride along after 6 p.m. and on the weekends, possibly 2-hour ride along with a notepad to hear exactly from the people directly. They don't know you yet, so it'll be, I think it'll be a good thing to do that. Also, some people binge watch TV shows and things that maybe you can binge watch the old videos of ARPA funding meetings or our old videos of input meetings, and just maybe spend some time going back on all of the meetings, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 6 months of past videos. Ogilvy's and Staley's videos with us in it, the advocates. Thank you for your time. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Verse, yours is the next hand up.
Okay, I assume I can be heard.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good evening. My name is Larry Downverse, and I represent the Detroit People's Platform Transit Justice Team as well as Voices of Public Transit. Although comments have been made about what you may take up in the future, I would like to add this to your list. Not only the items brought up by Ms. Stewart, but I have a problem with the part of Section 2 where it uses the phrase proof of fair payment. What exactly does that mean? I would like to know. It's a broad and inconclusive phrase. And in Section 22, you have flammable liquids, which means I can be kicked off the bus and under your draconian rules, summarily prohibited from riding the bus simply for taking a cigarette lighter on board. It is a container with a flammable liquid. It's overbroad. It should be removed. And finally, this part about invalid passes, I have a problem. I purchased a pass on the 13th, used it on the 14th, and as of the 15th, it's no longer valid. So it appears it's a 31-day DDOT reduced fare pass. And I was told, yes, the driver should, but I got on the bus today and the driver looked at it and said it was expired because he didn't recognize that it was January and not February when it expires. So what can be done? Passes that like that should be replaced or that part should be removed. It's seeking to make the department liable for damages. Thank you. I yield the balance of my time.
Thank you, Mr. Verse. Renard, yours is the next hand up.
Good evening. Can I be heard?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to welcome formally Mr. Kramer to DDOT as director. And I want to thank you all for amplifying the work that Cunningham does in terms of passing out those hand warmers. And in the past, we were passing out the masks during the pandemic as well, too. That just means more warmers getting into more hands as well. I also want to just affirm or just ask the department just to clarify, will the Woodward bus be now touching over at the Rosa Parks Transit Center? I know you all delayed the April improvements, but one of the major items that the community needed was a layover at the Rosa Parks Transit Center with Woodward. I think there's been some positive announcements about that. And to be honest, in the community, that is very welcome, especially when it comes to our disabled folks and seniors. On Cunningham's question about the fare, I'm actually kind of interested if DDOT would change its policy when it comes to the senior ID. If someone is a senior, they're going to be getting older, not younger. So every 4 years that they have to, or 2 years that they have to update their ID so they can get the reduced fare, it's kind of unnecessary. If I'm 70, 4 years from now, I'm going to be 74, 4 years now, I'm going to be 78. What do I need to renew that for? I get with disability because that can change. There's temporary disabilities, but also with permanent disabilities. If someone's blind or someone's permanently disabled, why did they have to renew their reduced fare card? I just think to take some work off of DDOT would just be to just have that be permanent eligibility, and or unless something happens. I find that unnecessary, but I wonder if the department can just use its rules to change that to make people's lives easier. Nobody wants to get out and go downtown, have to renew a card to prove they're getting older. Thank you.
I'll
Thanks
address
for
about the Woodward changes.
actually, Steve, I was just gonna put the map right back up.
Yeah, it's on next week.
I just took it, the share down, so you should be able to.
Just going very slowly. One moment, please. So there is the new and old Woodward 4 route map. Steve, anything to add?
No, it's all there. It was in the presentation. Thank you.
And just to clarify, Bay 15 is where we'll be laying over. Okay. Ayobami, can we get back into a comment?
Yep, all set.
I think so. While we're doing that, the next hand up is a phone number ending in 169.
Okay, we're good.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great. I just want to say, DDOT needs much improvement. In general, they need to be on time. I got the info about this meeting from Brother Cunningham's Facebook page. I'm 39 years old and disabled. I learned a lot from Brother Cunningham. I learned that I can speak up and where I can speak up. Everybody under the sound of my voice, do kind things to those that are riding the buses. Cunningham gives out hand warmers, gloves, hats, and bus tickets at the bus stops. He's been a blessing to Detroit for a very long time. I checked the pictures and the videos out of his work, and you should too. It's right on his Facebook page. Thank you for my time.
Thank you for that. Fran, yours is the next hand up.
Hello, how are you today?
Hello, go ahead with your comment.
Yes, I have a couple of things, and first is the issue that I raised quite some time ago regarding bus coming down Outer Drive from Schoolcraft to 6 Mile. Has that been addressed yet? There's no stops along that way, and there's buses that come through that way to get to their route. That community can use that service. I've been trying to get to my vehicle has been down for a while, and I've been trying to get to my volunteer. I volunteered at church on Outer Drive and Acacia, and haven't been able to get there because the stop that it gives me says I need to walk 17 minutes to get from that stop to the church. which is ridiculous because I have a disability. The other thing is I was at the transit center at State Fair, and they shut down the inside for cleaning, but they gave no prior notification that they're about to close down. And I had to use the restroom before I went outside. They shoved everybody outside instead of moving people from one side of the building to the other side and cleaned. But they said everybody need to leave out of the lobby and that you couldn't go to the bathroom either. Now, I have incontinence. Hate to put that out there like that, but I needed to use the restroom. I didn't know how long they were going to be shut down, but they said, well, you should have gone before we started, before we made the announcement. How was I supposed to go before they made the announcement? And they didn't make an announcement. Thank you.
Just to clarify, you're asking for a bus stop on a route that already exists that comes down that street?
There's no bus stop that exists down there. The buses drive through that way to get to their route, but there's no bus stops along Outer Drive between Schoolcraft and Finkel.
Okay, so you may be seeing what we call a deadhead, so between Schoolcraft and Finkel, along Outer Drive. Okay, so at that point, Outer Drive is where is, I know Outer Drive ziggles and zaggles all over, so what's the closest bus route to where you are now?
Finkel and there's a stop that stops at Evergreen, it stops at Losser and Finkel, but there's no crossing routes that go, you got Evergreen that goes as a crossing route, but coming down Finkel to get to where I need to go, there's you have to get off Finkel and walk all the way down almost to Schoolcraft to get to where I need to go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because we most of our routes are on the 1 mile grid, so that's why we have Evergreen and then Greenfield and Schaefer and so okay, so we'll see what the closest way is. So you're trying to get from Outer Drive and Finkel to Outer Drive and Schoolcraft?
Yes.
Okay.
And Steve, I'm going to say if there's anything further with that, if you could maybe put your email in the chat so that she can contact you, we can discuss further. Ricky?
And that lobby issue also, they're putting everybody out in the cold.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Billingsley, my name is Ricky Amaker. I'm one of the capital projects managers here at DDOT, and I apologize if I missed it. What time was this that they had done this?
That was about maybe about 10 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning?
Yes, and it was very cold that day. And they said that we couldn't leave, couldn't go over to the restroom after they said the lobby is closed. They made a big announcement, the lobby is closed, everybody need to leave. And I got up to go to the restroom before going outside. They said, nope, you can't go to the restroom either.
Okay. I am going to look into that. I will find out for you personally. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my information in the chat. This way, if you have any further questions, you're more than welcome to pass it along to me particularly, but I will be doing that right now in the chat.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Patty, yours is the next hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. First of all, welcome, Robert. I'm excited about what you can bring to DDOT. I did submit a letter that has a bunch of detail. For some reason you didn't get it. Let me know. I will resend or do something. But the biggest thing I'm asking you, if you could bring your vision that you used at the Detroit People Mover to get things moving and just to see where it can actually go, where the People Mover, you gave some hope to an institution and also started repairing things and straightening things out. And I really appreciate that and thank you. I just ask if you can do the same thing for DDOT to, you know, give us a vision, make us something that the mayor will brag about to people, that he'll actually be proud of, something he'll ride himself. There's no reason he can't ride once a week. That's one of the biggest underutilized resources is the city doesn't promote DDOT itself. And I ask that you use so many of these resources that don't cost anything. You know, the mayor riding to work, yeah, he lives off the Jefferson line. He can do these things, and there's no reason that we can't use all of our opportunities. And in particular, I'd like to see him put out programs that when he has the district meetings, he's putting things out about, wow, you know, this is what's going on at DDOT, and I'm so proud of this, and these are the interesting things that are going on. So please, I ask for your vision, and I've seen it on display. I was really impressed with what you did, the People Mover, so I can't wait to see what you can do here. And please let us know what we can do to help, because we want to make a better DDOT ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Jack, yours is the next hand up.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm a resident in Southwest, and I work in Corktown, and I'm been going to some of the public feedback meetings of the Michigan Ave reconstruction, and I just have found the last several times when they've like reconstructed the idea that the city has been you know, their voice and their contribution and their advocacy for public transit in the plan has been sorely lacking, to the point where it's not really any difference now. The buses are on the side. There's no dedicated bus lane. They put the dedicated bus lane in the center in the first place, which I don't even think that makes particular sense. But the more than this, they're ripping up the historic train tracks in the middle. Now I know they're not functional at this point, but if we're ripping up the street for 2 years anyway, why shouldn't there be a rail? Even if we don't have trains, doesn't it fit in with an integrated rail system? And have we just given up on the idea of an integrated rail system? I know this isn't necessarily DDOT's purview, but it could be. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Marguerite, you're next.
Thank you. And good evening. Like I said on Tuesday, that we need to find a better way to get the word out and to make sure that DDOT can must improve for everyone that they use public transit. And Mr. Kramer, please try your best to listen to the passengers that ride DDOT, because I've been riding DDOT since the age of 12 years old, and this year will be my 70th birthday. 70th birthday this year. And I've seen some up and down issues that public transit has improved. but it can be into more, more, getting more drivers and to get drivers, different routes and have them to study their routes, study their routes before driving the actual route. Because I think that if we give them a sense of idea how how to go around different intersections to be able to turn in close to the curb. And that is one of my other big issues too, is that the drivers are not turning close to the curb because of the ice and the snow. Please make sure that they know that people with disabilities will be able to get on the buses without any hassle. And for me personally, I would love to take you with me, like what in my shoes day, what in my shoes day, for that you can see what I go through. And again, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Miss Marguerite.
Thanks, Marguerite. I appreciate that. And I will be, along with Cunningham's offer, I'll be exploring opportunities to get out and in addition to just riding myself, but also alongside others who are interested too. So I appreciate that.
Okay, Betty, yours is the next hand up.
Good evening to all within the sound of my voice. I'm Betty, a long-time resident of city of Detroit, born and raised. I just want to say that I'm new at attending these meetings. I've attended 2 or 3, but the reason I'm attending is because of Brother Cunningham. I'm so impressed with the work that Brother Cunningham is doing to make sure people know their rights. He advocates for people who rides the bus. He does everything that he can do to help make a difference and trying to do what he can do to make the transportation system better and safer for people. Then he's out there handing out gloves and bus tickets and hats to help people to be warm and safer as they wait on the bus. And Brother Cunningham, he talks constantly about the problem he's having with his vehicle. I believe, Brother Cunningham, there should be some type of stipend or something, somebody come up with a plan to help Brother Cunningham get a vehicle that he can rely on. He gives people's rides, he gets them out the cold. And a lot of this work he's doing, he's not being paid. Sometimes he's using his own money. let's get together and do something to help Brother Cunningham get a vehicle. And I attend the council meetings daily. There's something should be done about these lobbies that the people are complaining about. They go and they speak in front of the council about being put out in the cold and not being able to use the bathroom. That's not right. There can be a plan if there should be a schedule when bathrooms are going to be clean part of the bathrooms and let the other parts be accessible to people. They're not animals, they're people. Thank you for this time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss Betty.
So if I can, I'll speak to the restroom. And I do know that Mr. Yavakor is going to address it as well. But excuse me, my name is Andre Mellon. I'm Assistant Director here at DDOT. And one of the concerns is we just entered into a new cleaning contract with the company that's going to actually facilitate the cleaning at Roseland Parks and Jason Hargrove Transit Center. So I do apologize. I know that may be a little short at this point, but we will definitely look at it and we will address that concern. So your sentiments are actually are being echoed and being heard. There should never be a point where people should not be afforded the opportunity to properly take advantage of the facilities. That's what they're there for. And we have to manage the process of cleaning and navigating that a lot better. So I apologize. We will definitely get on it and hopefully we can get a resolution in the near future.
This is Jenny. Yep. Corey, can I just say one thing just to reiterate the sentiments that were just put out there? So I just want to also make it very clear that in addition to making sure that we address the concerns, we are also going to make sure that we start to make sure you're notified about those times very clearly once we get onto a proper schedule so that you guys have that information and it is communicated to you. I think that was a very big point that has also been received on this call and on ones prior to this, that the communication is the biggest piece that we are also working on. So I just wanted to make sure that that was stated for you on this call as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Corey, CSO, Chief Safety Officer with DDOT. Do know if you can give us the direct times. I do know that we've start documenting each encounter as to the incidents and why it's been closed. I know we've been having some disruptive behavior as well, and law enforcement has had to close it a couple of times. So if you could give us some dates and times, I'll be more than happy to research those and get back to you, Miss Betty, as well.
Thank you, everyone. David, yours is the next hand up.
Oh, there I am. I am a TO that's currently laid off and eagerly awaiting employment, but I'm wanting to discuss something from the perspective of a Detroiter. Now, first of all, can you hear me? I'm thinking you can't hear me.
Yes,
okay,
go ahead.
excellent. At key places where non-bus riders and the general public meet, like outside the city county building, where there are a lot of pickups and drop-offs, the area is littered with transfers, and these transfers are not paper that easily disintegrates. It's coated plastic, so it sticks around for a while. People all over the city are digging through the trash. Riders dig through the trash looking for valid transfers so that they can get a free ride. They hold dozens of transfers that they've picked up off the ground and have been in who knows whose hands. They present those to the bus drivers, and sometimes they toss the ones that are no good right back out in the street. And I'd like to suggest, and I'm sure this has been suggested before, and I know the difficulties associated with this when we're talking about regional transit, but I'd like to suggest that we follow the path of Chicago, which has an excellent and successful bus system, and get rid of transfers altogether. And it can be done without completely offending the handicapped community, which uses them so much. But you think about the people that the people that currently don't care so much about transfers are people that work for 8 hours. They get on the bus, they go to their place of employment, and they work for 8 hours. No transfer is good after 4 hours, I think. So they end up paying again to go home, which is exactly the way it should be. So I think we would be encouraging the type of circulation that makes a bus system successful by encouraging the people who are employed to do it, and also actually discouraging people who just want to ride up and down Woodward all day. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Miko, yours is the next hand up.
Yes, hi, can you hear me, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, hi. My name is D'Amico Williams, and I'm a resident living in the city of Detroit. And I want to say, praise Brother Cunningham for all the work that he does. And also, you know, I don't see anybody else from DDOT doing anything that Cunningham does. He needs to be hired. He's been promised to be hired and he's not hired. He could be your outreach director. He could help you all connect, because you don't have no trust or integrity or even so much as dignity and honor with the people of the city of Detroit. Be it they ride the bus or not, DDOT has the worst reputation of all time. You need to fix this. Also, Cunningham knows where can meet people where they are versus where you all have the authority and you won't do it. I don't understand why y'all can't engage with the community much more than what y'all doing already. And it's slipping. DDOT's performance, I ain't never seen in a big city bus service this terrible. You look at New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA. I'm pretty sure they have their problems, but Detroit, it seems like we're on the move and you all can't get it together. What are you going to do to increase the time? There should be 24-hour bus service all around. People got to work. Okay? People got to work. And the last thing I want to say is, is that DDOT needs to work with us activists and not block us from when we are trying to help the residents, and not prevent us from doing our jobs. And you all were getting ready to have rule changes that would have barred activists from communicating, but would have made it unfair for us in the process to get people the help that they need. You need to do a better job, DDOT. Come on now. It's a new year. Let's get it together. Thank you so much for taking my comment.
Thank you for sharing, Miko. The next hand up is Brittany.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, guys. Well, I'm actually from Community Treehouse Center of Detroit, and my boss, Miss Tammy Black, is on your board for DDOT. She wanted me to come in and introduce myself. I hope anyone is familiar with her. Hi, how are you guys? I can't hear anyone, sorry. Everybody's muted.
We were allowing you to speak.
Sorry, but yes, I am also a resident here in the Jefferson Chalmers area. And I just had a couple of questions because one, I am actually a bus rider. I currently do not own a vehicle. And I have concerns according to safety. I don't feel like none of the bus area stops have any type of enclosures where people can feel protected, especially throughout this type of weather, like especially with elderly and things. And I wanted to know what are measures that people are willing to take when it comes to building more enclosures at these bus stops, if that is a thing, if it's like part of a budget plan for the city. Is anyone able to answer that for me?
Yeah, I can answer that question. I was just waiting to make sure that you didn't
I'll
have
get
any-
my time in. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I was just also wondering, is there things for elderly like vouchers, better transportation things, or safety measures for elderly that I can spread out to the community, because I'm also a community engagements coordinator. So I'm trying to get all the resources I can bring back to my nonprofit to spread out to our community. That would be all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Brittany. I think I've actually met you before.
Mhm.
a couple months ago, but
Okay.
yeah, I can answer the question on bus shelters and stops. So under our Title VI program, which is the equal rights program through the federal government, that we have our own policies related to where we place bus shelters. We tend to place bus shelters based on a point system that we have written down, and I can send you the point system or the link to our Title VI program on how we calculate that if you need. But on the East Jefferson corridor, particularly near you in the East Jefferson, in the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood, we are working on that East Jefferson Enhanced Corridor project right now, and the construction will, as of our current schedules, start in April of this coming year. So there will be a shelter, actually I believe several shelters over in your area that will be coming in. We don't have the funds to put shelters at every single stop. There's over 5,000 stops in the system, so it's pretty challenging to do that. We're trying to make sure we serve all Detroiters equally and appropriately. So there are, future amenities coming to your area, but not every single stop. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
But I'll send you my contact information if you'd like to know more information.
Please do. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany and Jonathan. Stephen, yours is the next hand up.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. So the last mayor's meeting, asking mayor representative what was going on with the shelters, because old shelters being moved and new shelters going in where some of those old shelters are. And I've also been looking around on my ride here. I'm on the Dexter bus, and a number of the shelters are removed that have been needed along the route. So we're winding up a shortage of shelters in the middle of winter right now. What he said was that after the shelters that were placed from the new stock went into places where we had existing shelters, I think that we had a little bit of a bad, it's just a bad process, because people need the shelters, whether they're old or new. The old shelters should have remained. So I don't know how to deal with the situation now that they've been removed. But during the meeting, he said that 107 shelters, I believe, are on the list to be installed in 2025, because that was one of our high topics for our fundraisers. I'm hoping that we're on path to that, and I'm hoping that installation of shelters during the wintertime is possible, because weather is inclement for being able to install a shelter. But we need to have these shelters.
I know it's a lot of feedback. Were we able to get to just, or you may have to also provide additional information, but no.
All right.
I think I understand what you're trying to say, Stephen. Unless you have more.
Shelters have been removed. New shelters went into half the location. 170 shelters for 2025. Bad weather. How quickly can we get those shelters?
Yeah, so I think I understand what you're trying to say. So regarding older shelters and shelters that we remove, generally the ones that we're trying to remove are unsafe in stability conditions. So like we'll look at the bottom of the shelter and we'll notice that something is rusted or there's some parts that are going bad, and we're not able to replace those. So they ended up being shelters that could be knocked over by the wind or something like that. Those are the ones that we're really trying to replace if we can, as long as they're a part of that Title VI program. They're a part of this point system and still fall within the bounds of replacing it. But all in all, we have a 60 ad shelter program that is going on right now. So we're installing 60 ad shelters right now. Some of those are replacements, some of those are new. It's completely dependent on that Title VI program. we'll still be increasing the total number of shelters we have in the system. And then in 2025 and 2026, we have 100 more that we're working on right now, the design to get those installed. It takes quite a long time to get through all of the federal procurement processes and other things similar to that. So it's absolutely something we're working on. We really do care that people have shelter and a place to stay away from the snow and the elements, especially in the Midwest. It's not put past us. We're working on it. But regarding the older shelters, yeah, we preferably won't be removing them if not needed. And if we do remove them and they are being replaced, we'll try to keep that old shelter and hopefully put it up in a different spot if we can. I hope that answers your questions. And I did put my email in the chat if you'd like to email me personally.
Thank you, Stephen. Call in user 1. Yours is the next hand up. Call.
Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Happy wonderful new year. I'd like to bring to you guys' attention what's been going on. At the Rosa Parks Transit Center, the grounds are not being properly cleansed. It's full of bird feces, vomit, and human poop. They are allowing the homeless to sleep all on the ground. And when you try to call for the transit police, they are laughing at this situation as though they feel that it is funny, when in fact it's not funny at all. I'm highly offended by this, to say the least. Also, I am noticing that the handicap doors are not working properly and have not been for the last 3.5, 4 years continuously. And that affects those of us who are disabled. Is Mr. Kramer here? Robert Kramer, is
Yes.
he here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Happy New Year to you. Welcome aboard. I'm so glad to have you, and I'm glad that Mr. Staling is gone. I will contact you to make you aware of that. Also, you need to change the policy for MetroLift. When we are picked up and we need change for $5, it should be no problem with paratransit making change for those of us who are disabled. Making change for a simple $5 is no problem. I had an individual from Big Star Transportation told me she was going to keep my change as her tip, and that if I didn't like it, she was going to leave me stranded. And I have it all on recording to prove.
That is
I
time.
don't feel comfortable. Excuse me. I don't feel comfortable riding with Big Star, and I've made. And we do have a 2-minute time limit.
Wait, can you please let her finish her comment?
Thank you
This is
so
Jenny
much,
Whitfield.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. This left me, I've been left stranded in the freezing cold on numerous times by Big Star, and I've requested for them not to pick me up because I deal with such hostile, disrespectful behavior, all on recording, that I've made Mr. Staling aware of it, and then he would be disrespectful to me, and I have it all on recording to prove from the time, the date, all of that. And I've even made your customer service aware to tell someone to leave a disabled man or woman stranded in the freezing cold because you don't want to make a mere change for a $5 bill is inconceivable. I've been speaking with lawyers, and that is a violation under Americans with Disabilities. And I hope, Mr. Kramer, you will improve this, because DDOT is running on poor service in terms of the Dexter bus, where you're having to wait an hour and it's skipping an hour. The bus stop on Linwood and West Grand is full of ice that the children have to stand in the street that come from Northwestern High School. And then when you tell DDOT, they say that's not our responsibility, call General Service. And General Service will tell you they'll think about calling someone to throw salt down. Now, this is a major road, so it's not like a side street. West Grand Boulevard is a major, road. It should never be a time kids have to stand in the street to get to a bus stop because it's filled with ice and snow. And obviously, with it being cold, and it's going to get colder, you can understand my sentiments. So I would like to know, when can these issues be done? Because it's putting my life in danger. I've had injuries because of some of your drivers driving under influence, that Mr. Bell will defend these particular employees. And I have it all on tape to prove. Verbatim, time, dates, all of that. Do you still have the same email, Mr. Kramer?
I've got a City of Detroit email, and if you can provide us as many details as you can, and we'll I'm committed, just like I know all the rest of the staff is, to addressing each one of your comments and doing our best to improve.
I still have your email when you was with Smart. You don't have that anymore?
Oh, no, I definitely don't have that one anymore. Yeah, no, it's Robert.Kramer, Robert.Kramer at DetroitMI.gov. Pretty easy to remember.
Okay, I'll probably have to call later to get that, because I don't have a pen. I'm just getting home. But I wanted you to know that our lives are put in danger. Your Big Star Transportation is leaving us stranded. Okay. And another thing that they will do that is dangerous, they will have Big Star to claim that they have shown up at the address. Like, say, if you're being picked up from a hospital and you be standing out in the cold, and they'll swear that they've been there. I can show pictures and dates where they'll say they've shown up, and myself, along with DMC security and cameras, can prove that Big Star did not show up at that time. I was not even given a complimentary, ride for having had me standing in the freezing cold over 45 minutes.
So good afternoon, ma'am. This is Jenny Whitfield, Deputy Director of Administration. So I just want to let you know, I will work with the team to look into these comments that you made today, and to make sure that we get something addressed, and then we will definitely be following up with you. Okay. We really appreciate your commentary today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Those are all the hands up. I don't know, Mr. Kramer, if you want to make some final comments, or Ayobami, if there's anything else we need to cover.
No, we're at 6:09. If we want to make sure, I guess before we do that, just want to double check to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to speak that may have not raised a hand. We're talking about new hands. If there was anyone who did not speak who would like to make a comment, can you raise your hand or put it in the chat? And I think everything in the chat was addressed. Do we know? It looks like staff has been commenting. So, okay, let's see. Possibly, is that a new hand that just went up?
No, it's Cunningham.
Cunningham, you did make your comments already, but I saw one and then it went away. So if it's a new hand, please.
Yeah, we're just trying to get everybody who didn't get an opportunity to make sure they have an opportunity to talk.
And while you wait for that, I guess I make a have been taking notes, just like I know the rest of the DDOT staff have been as well. And so I think just generally speaking, talking about wanting to improve the customer experience, to make transit something that's as reliable and safe as possible. Those are all things that are easy and solid foundations, but take a lot of work and persistence from a day-to-day standpoint. And I'm here to do that, just like I know the team will, and I'll be encouraging and supporting them to do that. And really also focusing. We haven't talked a lot during the comments about drivers, which I think is a good thing. And so that's another role. Most of the people, if not all the people from DDOT that are on this call, are part of the departments that support operations, drivers, and maintenance to keep the buses repaired. But all of us really do want to continue to take the opportunity for feedback and to improve. And so yeah, I guess those are really overarching comments. But just generally speaking, I think I'm just really excited and encouraged to be part of the team now, and encourage everyone to keep me honest, keep the feedback coming, good and bad, and I'm here to work for you. So thank you.
And we did want to give Stacy a chance to speak. If I can find you in the list, go ahead and unmute
Yes,
yourself.
Stacy
Oh,
Stricker.
there you go.
Can I
Go
be
ahead.
heard? Happy
Yes.
2020, happy 2025 to all. And we'd like to welcome you, Mr. Kramer, to DDOT. We look forward to working with you. I'm a legislative aide to City Council member at large Mary Waters. And I will be reaching out to a lot of you on tomorrow, especially Mr. Horndorf. Jonathan, yes, I have a lot of questions regarding shelters. I did put some information into the chat about the 48217 community. Okay, so thank you all for your service. Look forward to working with you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ayobami.
Okay, I believe that is everyone. And Mr. Kramer has already gave his closing remarks. For those, as you know, the conversation doesn't have to stop here. You know how to contact us. There's also our D.Comments at detroitmi.gov. And we encourage you to, especially if there's issues regarding customer service, to please give customer service a call, 313-933-1300. That allows you to be able to give real time and all your details, and so they can be properly investigated. Our next meeting will be February 20th, and we look forward to seeing you all there. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, everyone.